Greetings, Minecrafters, and Happy New Year! I'm just so excited. All right, so welcome to another Minecraft episode. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm so excited to have today's conversation to kick off 2023 because this is one of my favorite, possibly the number one, right? Because it's a sort of the foundation for Minecraft is becoming the boss of your brain. So I can't wait to have this talk about the master key to prosperity, the master key. So think of that key that opens every single door in the building. Or I used to think of the people with the big wad of jingly keys at like the grocery store. And then there's that one they call for the manager because I don't know why. And it opens up everything, So master key to prosperity, which means abundance. Master key to abundance and unlocking that and living our best life. So here it is, the number one. We talk about it a lot, but still people, I think, they just think it's touchy-feely. They don't think it's real. I don't know. Anyway, if we become what we think about all day long, I'm sure. And so are a lot of other people. And I want to give a shout out today because I talk about this literally daily with my Minecraft students and just out in the world, and I live it and all that. But I want to give a shout out to Earl Nightingale, who was sent to me by a new friend of mine because I was listening to him today, and he kind of surged it all up and kind of inspired me to do a kickoff for 2023. So we become what we think about every day. And Earl brought up Marcus Aurelius, and actually he's my new great thinker. I mean, not new, old and dead, but new to me. Obviously the famous Roman emperor. My mother-in-law gave me a great book, The Meditations of him, and I already started it. So anyway, reeling it in, Marcus Aurelius is also said, a man's life is what his thoughts make of it. Is a man's life, of course that was like thousands of years ago, so a person's life is what they make of it. It's what we make of it. So many people are talking about this. And this is what the course Minecraft I designed at Champlain College is all about. I mean, we do all kinds of other things, but they're built on on this fact, okay? And I asked them day one, I will say to my Minecrafters, my brand new Minecrafters, with their big eyes and their new backpacks, and they're all excited. I said, here's the thing. You can, in the world, in the universe, you can break it down into two things, okay? As far as how we can choose to live. Very broad sense. We can choose to control our thoughts, or we can allow our thoughts to control us. And they kind of look around, and I'll say, which is more pleasant? And then I'm like, it's not a trick. And then come out with, of course, controlling our thinking. And people just don't get this. Wayne Dyer, and also a great thinker who I listen to frequently, says, as you think, so shall you be. Who else do we have? I made a couple of notes, and mostly I got it up here. William James, considered to be the father of psychology, way back in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, and pretty sure he was a Harvard guy. Anyway, he talked about it a lot. The whole key to happiness, to success, to all of it is controlling what's here. It's controlling what's here. So we're talking about the master key to prosperity today. Thoreau's another one. And so we're talking about thoughts, right? Lead to feelings, which lead to actions or behavior. So without any exaggeration at all, how we think dictates how we feel and live. So changing our thoughts changes our lives, literally, okay? Literally. And here's the other thing, because Earl's talking about believe and succeed. We talked about beliefs, like really our unconscious drives the bus. Roughly 95 to 96% of everything we think, feel, and do is coming from the unconscious. So that's the hard drive, right? So here's the thing, is thoughts, feelings, behaviors, right? Thoughts also, when they are all grown up, they become beliefs, and that can work for you or not. But here's the thing, the beliefs are in the hard drive, and they are what's driving us all day long. So thoughts when they grow up are beliefs. So beliefs, our belief system is going to literally make or break our prosperity and our living our best life. You can make it work for you or not. The third thing I wanted to talk about was goals. And this is a funny one for me because a lot of times you hear the go motivational speakers who are great. Like Tony Robbins is one of my favorites. I really like him a lot. To have the goals is good. I think we all agree to have goals is good. You've got to have goals. Otherwise, it's like being I think Earl talked about, a boat just floating around in the ocean. No compass, no plan, no. I have a good friend of mine, Dr. Dave, says hope is not a plan. Oh, I hope I get there. Well, really, mate, you might not. Hope is not a plan. Good to have hope, but you got to have a plan together. So to have the goals is super important because you don't want to be that boat floating around in the deep end of the ocean. You want to have a plan to land on this gorgeous island with palm trees and a pina colada and not to be floating around, right? And so, yes, the thing that I just add to that because of the mindfulness factor is it's good to have the goals, have that direction, right? And then stay focused on the now, because the now, with the goal in mind, it's over here, over in front, like a beacon, okay, like a beacon. And then stay in the now, because when we put all of our energy into it, the goal happens. So it's a beacon, it's meant to, and then that's it. Okay, so, one thing cool that Earl brought up too was a farmer, right? And we've talked about this. Was it Wayne Dyer or was it Abraham Hicks? Anyway, one of my other thinkers was talking about the same thing. Because here's the thing. They're all saying the same thing. They just have different contexts, different stories. But the great ones are all saying the exact same thing. So it's even in the Bible, right? We reap what we sow. So Earl was talking about seeds. And the story was like, giving a farmer a choice. So I'm going to change all that just to make it my own. Let's say we rip open the dirt in our own yard in Vermont. I found this out, our house is sitting on top of what was a cow pasture like a gazillion years ago. So you would think that would give me a leg up with the planting thing, but plants fear me still. I don't know, I could kill a cactus. Anyway, so let's say we plow for somebody else, plow a nice garden in the back, and then give them a choice. Here's a seed for roses. Here's a seed for poison ivy or a pricker bush or something. Okay, I think I'd go with the roses. Well, let's say tomatoes, because that's like sustenance versus the poison ivy or versus, just like the pricklies that you walk through or maybe even a poison sumac or something like that. Whatever we put in the ground, right? The ground doesn't care. So think of that. The ground doesn't care. Think of that like the mind. So we're planting the seed. Whatever we plant, it's not like we're going to plant corn and then poison ivy shows up and no corn. That's not how it works. Or we plant poison ivy and it yields to this beautiful blueberry bush. No. If you put in a blueberry bush, you're going to get blueberries. You put in poison ivy, it's going to then climb all over you, right? So that's how it works. It's very super logical. So, and Earl also talked about and I was just saying this without him even, how much we take the mind for granted. I actually even have it on my syllabus. Because here's the thing, we expect so much of the mind, like you got to remember this, and we get mad at the mind when it quote unquote fails us, when we can't come up with something. We say it's on the tip of my tongue, why can't I? And maybe it's really heated family board game, a Trivial Pursuit, and like why can't I? And we get mad, like why can't I come up with it? But when we could be doing the opposite, we could be nurturing this wonderful organ, this 3-pound organ, and it's just loaded with wisdom, and we could be nurturing it, and it could be our best friend instead of us getting pissed when we don't remember stuff, or we're not fast enough, or we forgot the garbage bags at the store, whatever. We do take our mind for granted, and it's interesting because I liked how Earl shed light on how we tend to value things more when we pay for them. It's just true. Like there's research on that. If you want to get like a business started and you say, oh, I'll do do this free or give out free stuff at the whatever, function. People don't value free stuff. They'll grab it, but they don't value it. If it's a service you're trying to sell and you have, I'll just charge this much until I get, people aren't going to take you seriously and think that you just research on this totally. And so when we think of that, with the mind, obviously our little baby cells are born into this world and our minds are free. And it's so true that we take our minds for granted. We don't always treat the mind well. We don't always get the sleep we need. Granted, I've done all this too. We all do, right? We don't always eat what we need to eat. We don't always do the mind exercises like the gym. And we often don't put in the effort and energy to control our thinking. The mind needs direction, just like a 2-year-old, like we talked about, a wayward 2-year-old. It needs constant nurturing. A nurtured mind is so powerful. A nurtured, trained, well-trained mind, the power is honestly limitless. truly limitless with what it can do. Yet we don't do it. And Earl's point was like, well, we just take it for granted, but yet we will value something that costs money, when in reality, the stuff in the world that costs money can all be replaced. It was really good. The mind is free. Okay, so, and we know that we're, just from an energy standpoint, we talked about that too. We are walking balls of energy. That's not like mush gush stuff. And again, my degrees and my doctorate's in cognitive psych, so I could talk about neurons all day long and not have one bored second. We know on the base level, it all starts with the neurons. And in fact, memories. People often think you can pull out a memory, like in that Disney movie, Inside Out, wherever it is, which is very well done, by the way. However, you can't just carve open someone's skull with kindness and anesthesia and pull out a memory, because it isn't there. It's neurons grouping together by rehearsal and patterns, and then over and over and over again, and then there it is, which is why we can reinforce memories and why they can fizzle. Okay, because neurons that wire together fire together. And so we have to train our minds by consciously cherry picking what thoughts we allow to stay, and then nurture them. And we can pick out, just like weeding a garden. Keep the tomatoes and the cukes, rip out the ivy or whatever, or just the things that just shoot up, and rip them out so that all that energy can go into living our best life. Okay, and then, okay, this is good too. This is also, he's not the one. Abraham Hicks, oh my God, Wayne Dyer talks about this. Visualizing, Joe Dispenza talks about this. Visualizing whatever it is you're trying to do prosperity-wise. Visualize it, and you've got to actually believe it. Not like it's on this high shelf and I'm trying to reach for it, because you're going to be reaching forever, okay? It's visualizing it and feeling it somatically in the body as if you already have it. Almost so you're not surprised when you do get it. Grateful, always grateful, not surprised. Visualize the things you're able to do once you land that job or build that business. Visualize yourself putting an addition on your house, or taking that trip to Italy you always wanted, or family reunion, and you get to pay for a few family members and their kids who couldn't do it. Whatever. Just envision it, envision it, envision it. Envision your freedom. Maybe it's just what you really are after is having more time. Great. Just envision it, and then believe it, and not to be surprised when it happens. Guiding our minds. Okay, so Earl also talks about we are where we are because of our choice making, which are led by our thoughts. So whether you like it or not, whether you're in a good place, a not so good place, or somewhere in the middle, that all happened because of thoughts. Thinking, we become what we think about all day long, no question. So here on this day is an accumulation of all the thoughts leading to choices up until now. Thankfully, we can make a choice to guide them and train them. I just kind of thought right now, which is a very good one. Picture a super strong, like a thoroughbred, like a powerful racehorse. Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous to look at, fast, intelligent, fun and exciting. And picture those little jockeys. I think I've done this before. It's coming to me now. A little tiny jockey, they're like 100 pounds at the most, maybe like 85, 95. I don't know. They're little. And that little tiny jockey is controlling that huge, gorgeous thoroughbred. Same thing with the mind. We've got to direct and redirect to go full throttle to kind of, run our best race. So when back in the driver's seat, that's where I was going to go with that, because we want to be in the driver's seat, not in the passenger seat or the back seat when it comes to our lives. And we have to work at this. Wherever we put our energy into, this is what's going to be successful. So becoming the boss of your brain is about, the brain train thing is about controlling your thinking. If we don't do it, we're just going to run amok and whatever happens, happens on. That's certainly not how I want to live, for sure. And then lastly, he talked about, oh my God, he's just singing, he's preaching to the choir here in a way. Because life is meant to be exciting, like more than satisfying. Satisfying is like here, fulfilling, just so fulfilling, and it's just so exciting. We want to wake up and be thrilled that we're back, right? I told you my thank you thing. Before I even get out of bed, I say thank you out the window. My husband's used to, I swing around, my feet land on the ground. Thank you that everything's, I don't say all this, I just say thank you. My vertebrae are all working, and thank you for my, legs and arms and eyesight and hearing and all that. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. And the fact is, Also, that's one of the thank yous too. The more we are grateful for, as you know, that just rolls right into the whole abundance prosperity thing, which is what we're talking about. Because if we're not thankful for those little things, the universe is going to say, "Well, she's not even thankful for what she has. Why should I give her any more?" That we need to roll that in too. So, lastly, is to realize that our life minutes are limited. Okay, so it's kind of like an if not now, when situation. We can start controlling our thoughts today. If you start to slip a little, you don't beat yourself up. We want progress, not perfection. Just be like, okay, I'm on this new Minecraft training regimen. I just slipped. My thoughts took over for a bit, but now I'm back. The switch is on and I'm back. So keep just aiming for progress. If you are more mindful, you're controlling your thoughts more today than you were yesterday, then you are successful. That is it. So that is sort of the law of prosperity. The master key to prosperity is realizing that we become what we think about all day and controlling our thoughts. Happy New Year. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from Northern Vermont. Have a prosperous 2023.